Greetings to all our fellow supporters in finances and prayer. Just completed a 10-day visit to Tennessee for new faculty orientation and national conference with ELI, Equipping Leaders International. It was a long, intense period, relieved somewhat by the beautiful surroundings and weather at Henry Horton National Park, south of Nashville, Tennessee. We spent the first few days in getting to know the other new faculty and several of the current faculty and administration of ELI. We learned many subjects ranging from the history and vision of ELI to details of how ELI connects with national partners to establish networks of church leaders in target countries. We then moved on to creating ministry plans for the upcoming year and everyone's favorite activity, creating a budget. Good times. The national conference was a whirlwind of planning and reports as well. ELI is broken up into what they call Barnabas teams, or B teams for short. Each team gets together regularly for prayer and planning of training seminars. My Latin America team spent an afternoon planning over 35 conferences to be conducted in the coming year in at least 9 different countries. God is doing exciting work in Latin America. In addition, throughout the conference, we got reports from different B teams on their work throughout the past year and their plans for the coming year, after which we would spend time in prayer for that part of the world they were working in. There were two main prayer requests that came up repeatedly from team after team. First, that God would lay on the hearts of more men to answer the call for help from these faithful church leaders in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Second, that God would raise more support for the work to be done. Well, we heard praise report after praise report for the thousands of church leaders to receive and pass on training in the past year. There was also the heartbreaking reality in every report that dozens of further requests for training had to be turned down due to lack of trainers or lack of finances. Please join us in prayer that God would raise up trainers and support for the work. We also received specialized training from Dr. Donald C. Guthrie about teaching, especially in an intercultural context. The training illustrated the perils of garbled communication due to widely varied cultural assumptions. And we also worshiped together in sweet sessions of singing, prayer, and preaching. We also received a State of the World report during the conference. The numbers coming to faith in the global south right now is absolutely astounding. Imagine if this year every person in Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Alabama were saved just like that. Every single person. And then next year, the same number were saved. And the year after that, and the next, and the next. There is a revival of unprecedented proportions happening right now in the global south. And the great news is we get to be a part of it. We're home right now from the conference, but I got to go to my inaugural training conference in just 2 weeks. I will be traveling to Havana, Cuba. Be traveling October 28th through November 2nd with two other brothers. I'll be teaching on the 5 essentials of a healthy church, Jesus' high priestly prayer in John 17, and preaching Christ from Colossians 1:15 to 23. Please be in prayer for me as I prepare to teach in Cuba. Pray for our trip to Cuba that we're able to train these church planters to be effective in raising up new churches there in Cuba. And we are currently at about 10% of our support raise that is needed. Please pray that God would help us to raise support. We appreciate your prayers and being with us in this partnership as we get to be part of the exciting work God is doing. Thank you, and God bless.